A shark whose mother died in childbirth, a lighthouse keeper driven mad by isolation for 23 minutes, and a band photographed giving Nazi salutes as a joke. Welcome to Music Storytime, where we gently kidnap your algorithm and introduce it to better taste in music. Enjoy the background music in the free usage playlist, you dirty scoundrels. Now continuing today's focus music band, Graaf Generator. Somehow punk icons loved them. Their name was a typo, and they created a killer plague man of sound that progressive rock never fully recovered from. This is the story of Graaf Generator Killer Plague Man, a phrase that sounds like medical diagnosis, but actually unlocks the darkest, most theatrical corner of 70s British prog. Peter Hamill and Chris Judge Smith met at the University of Manchester in 1967, misspelling Graaf Generator by accident and creating a name that sounded more like a physics experiment than a rock band. While their peers were writing pastoral fantasies about medieval times, Graaf Generator was exploring psychological horror, existential dread, and the duality of human nature with a theatrical intensity that made most prog bands sound like frou-frou folk singers. Their music wasn't background listening, it was a confrontation. Their secret weapon was the saxophone and organ attack, eschewing guitar heroics for Hugh Banton's classically influenced keyboards and David Jackson's multiple saxophones. Take Killer, a song built around a heavy metal riff played on woodwinds and keys, narrated from the perspective of a lonely shark whose mother died in childbirth. The shark craves companionship, but kills everything that comes near, serving as a metaphor for isolation and the cycle of violence. It was created by stitching together fragments of other recordings in a Frankenstein attempt at commercial viability that accidentally produced one of their most beloved compositions. Then there's A Plague of Lighthouse Keepers, a 23-minute epic that consumes an entire side of vinyl and follows a keeper slowly losing his mind from guilt and isolation. The lighthouse serves as both beacon of hope and prison, as the protagonist watches ships crash and people die while being unable to help, eventually reaching either transcendence or complete insanity depending on your interpretation. Peter Hamill claimed it was simply the story of the lighthouse keeper, but the layers of guilt, redemption, and psychological torment make it one of progressive rock's most ambitious suites. But the true psychological depth arrives with Man-Erg, which explores the killer living inside all of us through the duality of man and energy. The song acknowledges that we are all capable of good and evil, with the protagonist feeling the killer move inside him, sometimes sleeping, sometimes awakening. The album's inner gatefold controversially shows band members giving Nazi salutes as a joke, a provocative image that generated discussion about intent and appropriateness, but also captured the band's willingness to confront darkness head-on. What makes these three songs essential listening is that they represent Graaf Generator at their most uncompromising, capable of making you empathize with a shark, trapping you in a lighthouse for 23 minutes, and forcing you to confront your own inner killer. They were embraced by punk icons like John Lydon and Mark E. Smith, despite being archetypal prog rockers, because their raw energy and Hamill's confrontational vocals transcended genre boundaries. Peter Hamill described their spirit as serious fun, capturing their ability to explore weighty philosophical themes while maintaining chaotic joy. The band proved that progressive rock could be dark, theatrical, and psychologically complex without becoming pretentious, creating music that was as intellectually challenging as it was emotionally devastating. Those three songs remain a killer plague man lurking in the shadows of progressive rock, waiting to confront anyone brave enough to listen.